Hi guys, welcome to episode 72 of Hit the Mic with the Stacey Harris. I am your host, the Stacey Harris. This is of course Hit the Mic. We're doing a live show today, which I am really amped about. I'm going to be talking about ideal clients, why they're important, how to create yours or figure out who yours is, where to find them, and really I'm going to be talking about whatever you want me to talk about. Your questions are super important to me. So here is how live shows work. First things first, very first. If you are on the Google Plus events page, the Hangout on Air page, you'll see a little Q&A button somewhere up in the corner. I think it's over there. It might be over there. Anyways, it says Q&A. Hit that button. That will allow you to answer questions and see all of the other questions being asked as we go through this. So as you answer them or you ask them, I will see them pop up on my little scroll bar, which is right for me, right over there, which you can't see. And I will answer them, and it just makes it really easy for you guys to ask me questions as we're going. Also, if you're watching this on my website, thestaceyharris.com/episode 72, which is the show notes page for this episode, you can enter your questions in the chat below, which is really easy. And I have that up as well, so I can see those. And if neither of those work for you, which is cool, everybody has their thing, head over to Twitter and use the hashtag #HitTheMic. Hit the mic, and I will see that because I have that up too. That's how much I love you guys. I have lots of stuff up. Looks like we have Marquita Samuel checking in. Hola. Hi. Hello. Yay. Hi, Marquita. I'm glad she's here. Marquita is super kick-ass. If you don't know her yet, connect with her. And that's the other thing I want to mention is the cool thing about these live shows is getting to connect with the other people who listen to the show. Because I know they're awesome, but I want you guys to know that you're also awesome. So connect with the other awesome people. MJ is checking in the questions. Hi, MJ. MJ Allen of Operation Gorgeous. Also fantastic. I'm telling you guys, I know the coolest people. I'm very lucky. Okay, so before I get too far into the content, I know that there may be a few of you who are checking out Hit the Mic for the very first time. If you are checking out Hit the Mic for the first time, tell me, because I want to know how many of you are first timers and how many of you are like, oh, we do this all the time. Amanda Schaffner is here. Hi, Amanda. I love the checking in. Cool. So tell me if you guys are a first timer, if you have done this before, because I want to know. So if you're a first timer, this is not how Hit the Mic usually happens. Hit the Mic with the Stacey Harris, which is me, is usually an audio-only podcast that I pre-record and goes out via iTunes and Stitcher and on my website, all of those wonderful podcasty places. And that happens every Tuesday and Thursday. Or I'm sorry, Tuesday and Friday. It used to be Tuesday and Thursday. Courtney Tarnow is here. Hi, Courtney. Seriously, guys, I know the coolest people. Also, like, almost all of the Business Amplifier Mastermind people are here. We're super close to having everybody here. Anyways, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was telling you what Hit the Mic is. Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays, which is today, are standalone episodes. Are me answering questions, telling you what's going on, whatever it is. They're just me. And then Fridays, of course, we have a guest, and I get some really cool guests on the show. Fortunately for me, who do amazing things and share really great content. Every once in a while, I think this is the third or fourth time we've done this, we do a live show. And that means that we do a Hangout on Air, and we do this. And I come on, and I usually have a topic prepared. I think for one, I just was like, anything you guys want to ask me. It was the big Q&A show. But today we have a topic. So I come on with a topic, and I will share some content, and I'll give you some information. And then I'm going to open it up to your questions. This is really driven by you and your questions and what you want to know. So today, like I said, is about ideal clients, why they're important, how to figure out who yours is, what to do once you figure that out, where to find them, all of that stuff is the stuff we're going to cover. If you have a question at any point, remember to use one of those ways that I told you about earlier, the Q&A button, which is somewhere, the chat if you're over on Hit the Mic, or I'm sorry, the staceyharris.com/episode 72. You can use the chat, which is below the video, and then of course use the hashtag Hit the Mic over on Twitter. I am checking that too. So remember, like I said, this is driven by your questions. So if you have them, let me hear them. Without any further jibber jabber by me, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's talk about ideal clients. Sound good? Oh, wait, one more piece of jibber jabber before we start. Housekeeping. Remember, Rockstar Guides, so the Rockstar Guide to Facebook, the Rockstar Guide to Google+, and the Rockstar Guide to Podcasting, this is the last day to get them for $99. They go up to $197 tonight at midnight. So I wanted to make sure I got that in before I got ahead of myself and forgot all about it. So if you are interested in grabbing one of those guides, which should be because they're awesome, do that today, because essentially you can get 2 guides for what the cost of 1 guide is going to be tomorrow. That's pretty cool. So do that today. And if you're over on the show notes page, thestaceyharris.com/episode 72, there is links to grab your guides and all of that stuff, and you can grab all that stuff on the website. Okay, now let's dive into ideal clients. Whew. I almost forgot. I knew I was gonna, that's why I made a note about it. So let's talk about why ideal clients are so important, because I think that it's really easy when you're in the middle of trying to do this exercise to go, you know what, I just want to work with everybody, and I don't want to focus in on this, and I don't want to turn anyone away, I don't want to leave anyone out, so I am just going to work with whoever wants to work with me. Mostly because doing this is kind of difficult, and it is, and there's no 2 ways around it, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's not my nature. It is a difficult task, but resist that urge, because the reality is taking this work up front, figuring out who your ideal client is now will make it easier to figure out how that person is evolving, or where in the stacking or funnel or whatever you want to call it of your offerings they fit. It'll also make what you offer easier to figure out, how you offer it easier to figure out, where you spend time on social media easier to figure out, what your email opt-in is easier to figure out, how often you send, how often you post, what your price points are, where you network. This piece, figuring out who that person is that you want to work with, makes all of those decisions easier. So that's why they're so critical, because this is really the foundation of everything else. And Marquita Samuel just totally nailed it. It's hard to narrow down, because especially when you're just starting out, you don't want to leave anybody out. You don't want to leave any money on the table. You don't want to put yourself in a position where I'm not getting any clients, so why would I say no to somebody? The reality is when you know who you're targeting, you can write copy that speaks to them. You can create offerings that really serve them. You can package products or services or whatever in a way that's really perfectly aligned with what they want and need. So it does suck, but it's so, so, so important. And I've talked a lot about this with clients and in webinars and in, I think, probably past shows. I've said it a bazillion times. I will probably say it 6 million more times in my life, which makes me very, very happy. The reality is narrowing down now allows you to go wide later. By building a really strong foundation now of the people who you're meant to be working with and doing the thing you're meant to be doing right now will allow you to expand that audience slowly and organically over time. My favorite example of this, and you've probably heard it if you've ever talked to me about ideal clients before, is Marie Forleo and B School. And there are now like almost 13,000 people that have been a part of B School based on the Facebook group, because I don't have any actual numbers. But when she started, it was very well targeted at service-based businesses, mostly coaches, women entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, those people that checked those boxes. Now we've got service-based, we've got product-based, we've got online, we've got offline, there's men, there's women, there's a whole spectrum of ages. But that grew because she grew a really great reputation with a really targeted niche, and it expanded over time. That is not something that happened 3 days after she opened her B School doors. B School is not even one of the first things she ever did. Okay? It takes time to build that sort of thing. So sort of, that's what really speaks to the comparison factor. Because people say, well, I don't want to turn down clients. I want to be like Marie Forleo and work with all kinds of people, which is fantastic. Except she is there now because she did this exercise early, because she figured out who these people were, and now her messaging evolves. I think this, it was really important because in the video she actually sent out today, that's how live this is, I'm going to talk about something she sent out today. She talked about changing her language a little bit because she was getting comments from people that they were watching Marie TV with their kids. And she realized, her team realized, that her content really spoke to all audiences. So she didn't want to have language that interrupted the passing of that message. Well, she's able to do that because her audience is built to that point. Her ideal client is very likely watching that with their kid. So she's cognizant of that language. Okay? So that decision became really simple because she knew who she was talking to. And that is really the key here, is making those future decisions really simple by doing the work now. All right. So like I said, if you have questions as I'm going through this, just throw them into the questions, just throw them into the chat, just throw them wherever you want to throw them, that I will actually see them, and I will answer them. I really, really, really love your questions, so I will probably interrupt whatever I'm saying to answer them. That's cool. Just ask them. Let's see. Oh, we've got Marquita and MJ and Amanda hanging out on Twitter. Very cool. If you want to hang out on Twitter, remember to tweet using the hashtag #HitTheMic. Okay, so let's jump in to how you figure out who your ideal client avatar is. Who is that person that you are meant to be working with? And a lot of people talk about this and creating one person. And I think that can be really overwhelming. So what I want you to do is I want you to not worry so much about one person. I want you to focus more on generalities first, and then we'll drill down. So start with how you serve them. What is it that you do? Okay? So why would they be looking for that? If you are a wellness coach and your focus is on helping people lose weight and keep it off, then your ideal client is going to be somebody who's looking to lose weight. So do you see how when you start with this step, it's really easy to narrow it down in a big way? We've already gotten over people who are trying to go vegetarian for health reasons. Those aren't your ideal clients. Now, that doesn't mean that those people might not work with you. This may be something, there's a crossover, but we're just going to start with one sort of generality. If you are a business coach and you want to help people go from idea to business, then that's where you're looking. You're looking for people who are currently maybe in a 9-to-5 and are ready to escape that, or who have been laid off in this terrible economy. So that gives you a really quick way to target down. And then you're going to dive deeper. Who are they? What do they do? Where do they hang out? What do they like? What do they dislike? What do their lives look like? What do their schedules look like? And you're going to nail down all of those points. But it's easier to get the big questions out of the way first. So what do they do for a living? What do they want to be doing for a living? Is that the same thing? Can you help align those things? What is it that you serve? Going back to the wellness coach example, if you're helping them lose weight, then they're likely going to be looking at other weight loss options as well. Or if you're helping them go vegetarian, maybe they've been eating meat their whole lives and now for health reasons they want to go vegetarian or gluten-free or whatever it is, and you help people make that transition. They're going to be looking at those other resources. But also you want to look at what other things they may be doing in their life. If back to the wellness and weight loss, maybe they're also looking at exercises. So they're starting to look at picking up running. Those are going to be good communities for you to check out. They're trying yoga for the first time. Those are going to be good communities for you to check out. It's also going to be great support content for you to put out in addition to your own content. So figure out what it is that they're going to be coming to you for, and then figure out who they are. So what is it that you solve? What problem is it that you, and this is going to be super general. This is not going to be your very specific targeted, I help them in 3 sessions with X sort of strategy, achieve this. Keep it general. So lose weight. Get clarity from idea to on their idea to actually launch their business. You know, we're not saying, oh, well, I helped them build an email list and I helped them do X, Y, Z and I helped them get their first client. No, you're just helping them get out of idea land. You know, focus on the general, and then we'll narrow down and we'll really target in on the specifics of what we do with people. So remember that the specifics are still important because that's how you're going to find them. And this is where I see people run into the biggest issues, is it's not about just figuring out who they are. You can know who they are. It's still very difficult to find them. So let's talk about, now that we have that ideal client, because there's a ton of ways to go through this exercise and there's a ton of versions of it out there. And if you would like an outline of how I suggest going through this, let me know and I will send it out via the email. If you're a part of the VIP group, I'll put my outline in there. Just let me know. But let's talk about how we find them, how we really get to know them. And one of the really cool ways to get to know them is to actually talk to them. So look at, if you already have clients, look at some of the clients you already have and figure out who you really enjoyed working with. Who were those people that really lit you up, who really were on target with how you like to work and the relationship was solid, and it was really A+ all the way across. Ideal, remember, is what we're looking for. So look at those people who fit that already. And this, you know, Lillian just said, that's my problem, where are they? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in just a second. Interview those people, talk to them, ask them questions, because I think it's really easy to create this person and guess where they hang out and logically they should be, but they're not always there. And a big part of that is because maybe they're looking for a resource that you've yet to create. This is something I talk about over and over again when I talk about Google Plus specifically, is, you know, oh, well, I can't find any communities where, you know, where my clients would be. There's no XYZ community. Create one. You just became an industry leader. You just gave them a place to go. Okay? So if you're not seeing these, then it may very well be that it doesn't exist, that they can't find it either. So by talking to those people who you've already worked with or who you already know through your circle and extended circle and network and extended network and non-Google Plus terms, sit down with them. Say, you know, I'd love to have a 15-minute chat with you, answer some questions about whatever it is that you want to help them with. No pitch. I'm just trying to get to know people who have this sort of issue or who want to learn more about. And ask them, hey, you know, what are your favorite resources for information about this? Where do you hang out? Where do you network? Because asking them takes all of the guesswork out of it. Also, you're going to get answers. And you're going to get questions the way they ask them, in their terms. So basically, they're going to write your copy for you. They're going to say, I can't figure out XYZ because of ABC. Okay? So now you have all of this material to actually go and find them. So through this interview process, through these surveys and all of that, and I've done surveys. That's a great way to do it. Send out a survey to your mailing list and say, I want to know these things, you know, I'm looking at an upcoming offering and I want to know if it would serve you guys. Take a couple minutes to answer these questions. People want to give you their opinion. People want to support you. People want to help make their experience better. But you have to let them. You have to ask them for that help, and you have to go out there and you have to say, here's what I need. Okay? So now you have exactly where to find them. And what will really surprise you is they'll share some things that you never considered. So when you're looking at those answers and you're looking at those responses and you've collected your data from these interviews and you have this information, what I want you to do next is go to those places. So if you are, and I would love if you guys could give me a couple of the industries you're in so I can give you some suggestions on where people might be. What I want you to really think about doing is getting creative. So they're going to be giving you these answers. Don't just follow that like it's, you know, written instructions. Get creative with that. Think in parallels. Think, so, okay, they hang out, or they really like Inc. Magazine. That doesn't mean that you need to become a subscriber of Inc. Magazine and leave all of the comments all over there. But that does mean that going to their social media channels and engaging with them and sharing content from Inc. magazine might be beneficial to helping you find. Also, who else is commenting? Who else is sharing? And Inc. is a huge one, and it's going to give you a ton of mixed results, but I'm just going in super generalities here because I don't have specifics for each one of you that is watching this now or in the future. Okay? I'm not that good. But what I want you to realize is you can go these places and simply start engaging with these communities. If you are B2B, so business to business, and you know that your community tends to really like Inc. magazine, then you should be commenting on Inc. magazine's Facebook page and engage with the other commenters. Don't just comment to them, comment to the other commenters. That's one of the really cool things about on Facebook now, where you can reply to comments. Reply to the comments and tag them. On Google+, reply in the comments and tag the person you want to talk to. Courtney just shared her ICAs in the wellness industry. So looking at other places that serve that community as well. What other resources do they really like to follow? And you know, if you help them with marketing and social media, you don't want to go hang out on other social media channels that are doing the same thing. You want to go to the other places they're looking for support. So maybe they're looking for support in, I'm trying to think of where other wellness people hang out, I'm sorry. Maybe the people who fit your ICA are super into juicing, and they're coaches and they teach about juicing and they love juices. Fantastic. So hanging out in those kind of places are going to be great. Yoga, whatever it is that they're really into or really serve them, that's going to be the place to go and engage with them. Don't just follow those channels. Don't just go, oh yeah, I totally follow Marie Forleo too. That means my ICA is going to come running at me and find me and just know I'm wonderful. No. Engage in that community. Become a part of it and engage in it. Let's see. We have Marquita. She says, I think my ICA might be in churches. Should I pitch workshops to the church to get to the people? If your ICA is in churches, that is a really great way to get in front of them. If you know your ICA is really into wellness and they tend to go to yoga, giving a presentation at a yoga studio might be really great. Even if your ICA is somebody who likes, or what you do is you teach people how to juice, but they're into yoga. Do you see the translation for Marquita? Your ICA is in churches and teaching them to start businesses. Yes, totally pitch the church and say, we would love to offer this to your congregation and we would love to offer this to your community to help them achieve that goal. Because they get value because they're able to offer another aspect, another benefit to their community. So you're coming in as an added benefit. Heather said, wellness people also hang out, yoga, meditation, juicing, and Burning Man, which I've heard is a really good time, by the way. Hi, Heather. Cool. You know, spending time in the places where your ICA spend time, not when they're just looking for help from you. You'll find that a lot of times, this has happened to me a lot with clients, and it's one of my favorite sort of anecdotes, is finding clients who didn't realize they wanted help with social media or didn't realize they wanted help with their marketing. They didn't realize that they were ready to do this, but they saw my name and we were communicating in a group, or they started listening to the show because they liked something I was talking about, and then they picked up Rockstar Guide to Facebook because they realized, I really could be doing a better job of this. Or they saw that they could pick up a Rockstar Guide to Podcasting or work with me in the Business Amplifier Mastermind or whatever it is. They were sort of able to take that next step because they already knew about me. So when that problem came up, I was already there. Instead of they're looking for a solution to this, let me go throw myself in front of them because they'll just instantly think I'm a genius and want to hang out with me and give me lots of money. That's not so much the truth. The truth is they get to know you, they figure out they have a problem, and then you're there to solve it. Okay? Does that make sense? It looks like Courtney's going to Burning Man next year, she says. I'll go with you. I will totally go with you. anytime that we can like try and create Burning Man as a business expense seems totally legit to me. Marquita said over on Twitter, just had the biggest clarity without the Stacey Harris on my ICA. I think I finally found out how to work smarter, not harder. I love that, and I'm going to screenshot it and save it forever. I'm so glad. I love that. So we're kind of at the point where I'm totally open to your questions. So we're just about 25 minutes, halfway mark. So what I want you to do is I want you to leave your questions. If you're over on the website, the Stacey Harris, leave them in the chat below. If you're at the Google Plus event page, there's a Q&A button somewhere. If you're over on Twitter, just use the hashtag, hit the mic, and I'll see it. Marquita says, now that I know where they are, do I tailor my social media to those people? I suggest keeping your social media slightly more general because especially you are more established, Marquita, in your brand, and I just happen to know this because she's fantastic and I know her and we've worked together. But I would say definitely target your stuff so it's reaching them, but it doesn't have to be solely about that. The thing with your social media is, and this is something that I don't think I mentioned and I really meant to, is sometimes your ideal client that you target in your social media might be a little more broad than you would have, say, on a sales page for a specific thing. And this comes up a lot when you have multiple levels of offerings. So if you do coaching for one-on-one for people who are just starting out in business, but then you also do consulting to help people get to the next level, that's likely going to be the same ICA in the sense that they're the same kind of person, they have the same kind of energy, they have the same kind of end goals, but they're going to have different specifics as far as where they are and what they need right then. So targeting your social media at this level and then your sales pages at this level is going to really help you get them in to the community and then funnel them where they need to go. And this happens with me with the Rockstar Guides. So the people who hang out with the Rockstar Guides are at a different place than the people who do the Business Amplifier Mastermind, or the people who, up until this month, at the end of the month when I discontinue them, did the Rockstar sessions, which is just one-on-one with me. Those people are different specific ICAs, but they have very similar general ICA things. Does that make sense? I hope that answered your question. She also says yay. I like the yay. Okay, Courtney says, I'm not sure how my ICA will find me. I want to help them through social and marketing, but since I'm new, I also doubt I will come up first in their searches about social with the competition out there. It's true. When you're just starting out, it's really hard, especially in a market that's so crowded. And it is. And really, all of the markets are crowded. It's just the way it is. But the reality is you have to go to those communities where they are. And that's why I'm talking about finding the communities that also cater to that person. So for me, I hang out in a lot of women entrepreneurs groups. I hang out in a lot of networking events. I hang out in a lot of tech places to talk podcasting with people. I hang out in a lot of mindfulness places because my ICA is very mindful and really big on mindset and achieving success through a positive attitude and a positive mindset, mostly because that's how I am. So I hang out in those places. I don't just hang out in social media places. I get absolutely no business from social media places because all of those people are saying the same thing I'm saying. It's an echo chamber. So you want to go places where they also are. Okay? So if you know somebody who really wants to teach people how to put together a retreat or who wants to help someone put together a package, but they are not so clear on the marketing part, working with them to create a webinar where they're talking about building and marketing your services are going to be a good combo for you. So that's where joint ventures come in really handy. But joint ventures are only really handy if you know who your ICA is, because that's how you're going to find joint ventures that actually serve your audience. So Courtney, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to those communities where your ideal client is and interject yourself. Start answering questions. And you're not even going to jump in and say, like, okay, I'm social media, here we go. You're going to go in and you're going to have conversations with them and you're going to network them and you're going to provide insights where you can. Okay, I hope that helped. Heather said, seriously, almost all the Business Amplifier Mastermind people are here. Which I'm guessing just means that the Business Amplifier Mastermind is like the best, right? All right. Heather says, I love hanging out in new communities and talking to people, and yet scheduling, my regular question, how much time do I dedicate to doing this? Lots at first while I'm growing my following and while I'm refining and building my ICA. This is where, and I've talked about this in past episodes, I think, but the sort of egg timer thing works. I use my timer on my iPhone, but I like calling it the egg timer thing because I don't know why at all. Dedicating chunks of time to doing just this. And mine is actually not any less than it was when I first started out, because it's really important to me to dedicate a certain amount of time to this, because this is the cornerstone of my business, and that's what I've chosen it to be. And that's why I outsource other pieces so that I can really make time for this. I don't have anyone else manage my social because this is something that I like to do. Anyways, so set that timer for 15 minutes and go in and just participate in XYZ community and do that and focus those different times on different groups in different places so that you're really spreading yourself around and you're not getting sucked into the time suck of checking the timeline or sending pictures to a friend or whatever it is. For me, it's BuzzFeed quizzes, whatever your downfall is on assorted social media channels. So spend that time, and it doesn't have to be 15 minutes all the time. It can be 5 minutes. Sometimes for me, it's literally 5 minutes between two calls that I'm going to say I'm going to go in and answer questions. This is also, and this is a total confession time, this is one of those things I do randomly when I'm laying in bed, because my ICA does tend to be online late, so I will be in bed on my iPad connecting with people and answering questions, because it's an easy time for me to do it. I enjoy doing it, so it doesn't bother me, and my clients are there, or my potential clients are there for me to answer questions. Definitely you have to figure out what works for you, but try the timer with a goal and see how that works. Courtney says, got it, makes sense, and that's how I find out what content I should create. Yes, yes, yes. Talking to these people, answering these questions, the really valuable thing in providing value through answering questions for somebody is not that you just answer so many questions and that's great, but you also now know what to write about next week on your blog post. All right, MJ says, do you think I can hang out in different arenas such as tech spaces or beauty events to find my ACA, which are creative women entrepreneurs who run online businesses? Yes, and the nice thing is to go to these different places, you're going to get different aspects of their lives. Now, you're going to have to find which ones specifically work for you. And I still find that I try on events and go, yeah, no, I won't go back to that one. It wasn't fruitful. Both in like local networking and events I travel to, I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that one again. It wasn't a great as far as networking. But trying those events on is kind of key. And I really like going to different events to connect with people. I really like getting to go to events where I know my ICA will be, but they're not going to learn about social media. They're going to learn about mindfulness. Or, a great example of this is I'm going to a Fabienne Fredrickson event next week in LA called the Millionaire Mindset Experience, I think, or something like that event. And so it's a lot about mindset. I know my ICA will be there, but also I'm going to be served by the content, but also I'm going to meet people who are there to make themselves and their businesses better. And those are the kind of people I like to work with. And so I will connect with them and I will network with them and I will get to know them and their businesses and they will get to know me and my business, and that's when that relationship starts. And this is something I talk a lot about, and this is really where that ICA leads you to, is building those relationships. Like I said earlier, going into these communities, getting to know them, getting to hang out with these people, getting to connect with these people before they realize they need you for something is how they hire you when they need you. Not, oh, I'm panicked, let me find you, here we go. Especially when you're somebody who's working in a softer area, where you're not saying, I'm promising you XYZ results. You're saying, I'm going to help you get more confidence or learn more about your mindset or live a healthier life. These are things that you want to sort of just be around people who want to get to that place. Does that make sense? Okay. Marquita says, I am still spinning, and now I can see why I've been led to certain venues. For example, my first speaking event was at a church. Coaching ICA, well, I just joined a chamber. Consulting ICA. Mind blown. Yes, exactly. Your ICAs may be different places. You know, I go to events like there's an event here in town called Tech Phoenix and stuff like that, where there are a lot of, WordCamp is this way too. There's a lot of newer entrepreneurs and small businesses who are still trying to figure out some of this stuff, and they're perfect for the Rockstar Guide. And the people I'm going to meet at this event in LA, the Fabian Fredrickson event, they may be great for the Business Amplifier Mastermind because they know the tech stuff and they're just ready to take action. But generally, though, I don't go to a lot of events where I meet both. But yeah, you're gonna find your ICA, like I said, that general, and then you're gonna get specific for your different offerings. So for you, your coaching and consulting clients are very likely the same general kind of people. They have a lot of the same things in common because that's why they resonate with you. But where they are in their business is going to be specific. So where you meet those people at events may be more specific. Cool. Yay. Any more questions? While you guys are getting more questions in, I wanted to let you know about a very cool thing. I'm doing a free challenge starting on the 23rd called the Build a Better Business Challenge. And it's just a 3-day challenge. It's all email based. I might send some videos, but it's probably all going to be text, where I just want you to check in on your foundation. So we're going to talk about social media, we're going to talk about your website, and we're going to talk about your systems. And really just making sure that all of those are where they need to be and in line with this ICA that you're creating now, because that is what's going to have you really kicking ass in your business for the remainder of this year and going into next year. Because, I was looking at my calendar and I started seeing all these emails about people who are like, oh, we're getting into the second half of the year and it's all going to be over soon. It's like, wait, it's only July. Let's make sure that we're on track for doing good stuff now, not just throwing in the towel for 2014. So I want you guys to check in on those pieces and make sure that they're where you want them to be. If you go to the show notes for this episode, thestaceyharris.com/episode 72, there's a link to check out the Build a Better Business Challenge. Like I said, that kicks off next week. We have a question from Mark Bruss. I hope I said that right. I find the best way to find the ideal client is to offer some of your time for free initially. That's really true, Mark, and that's why I was talking about earlier, sort of doing those interviews where you sit down and you say, hey, I'd like to answer just a couple of your questions. Because, like I said, that's a really great way to get them telling you their problems in their own words. I love that. And it's a great investment. I actually had Kendrick Shope on the show a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about when she started her business. She did 100 of those free calls to get to know her ICA. It's really powerful. Marquita says, you spoke of tailoring your web content for your ICA. How do you make sure to keep it cohesive? Well, you keep it cohesive because your overall messaging is the same. Your specifics are going to be pain points mostly. So I find the pain points might be slightly different for the people who check out the Rockstar Guide and the people who check out the Business Amplifier Mastermind. But the reality, I can talk. The reality is they resonate with the same kind of voice. So the voice needs to be consistent across all of your copy. But the pain points and the specific things you're speaking to will be different. Cool. Yay. Let's check Twitter because I haven't in a while. Very cool. All right, any more questions, guys, before I go? Remember to check out the Build a Better Business Challenge. Remember to check out the Rockstar Guides. Go to thestaceyharris.com/Rockstar Guide. Rockstar Guide to Facebook, Rockstar Guide to Google+, and the Rockstar Guide to Podcasting. Each one currently $99, but only for another about 10 hours, and then they go up to $197. So grab those today. Today. And the Build a Better Business Challenge is totally free. Cool. Any more questions? Do you guys like the live shows? Yeah? I love doing the live shows, so thank you for coming and hanging out with me live. I get such a kick out of getting to do these, and I had so much fun because Friday I did a webinar, today I did a live show, next week we have the challenge. I think I'm going to squeeze in another webinar in July too because I really like doing these. Selfishly, I think it's a good time. So, thank you for coming live. Be sure to tweet your takeaways and hit the mic if you loved it. I would love to hear it. If you didn't love it, Keep it to yourself. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys take time. Remember to check out the Rockstar Guides and the Better Business Challenge, the Build a Better Business Challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm amped. I'm really excited that Marquita says she's ready and that it was fun. Yay! Awesome. Like I said, thanks guys for hanging out. I will see you. Well, really I won't see you, but regular scheduled programming returns on Friday. We've got Amanda Berlin on the show, and we're going to talk about copy. So if you have any more questions about copy, she answered some really great questions in that interview, and that'll be available Friday. If you're brand new to Hit the Mic, remember to check out thestaceyharris.com/hitthemic so that you can check out all the past episodes of the show. Like I said, this is episode 72, so we're really in. So, very cool. Heather says, yay, live. Great lunch meeting for me. Thanks. Thanks, Heather, for coming. Thanks, like I said, everybody, for coming. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for checking out Hit the Mic. I had a blast. All right. I'm really going to go now. Bye, guys.